peroxide, hydrogen peroxide from octahydrated barium peroxide, isn't it? Directly, if you take anhydrous barium peroxide, it cannot be. Okay. And next, one more simple method is there, Merck's process. I think it is not given in your material, but better. Some questions are there. Merck's process. In this Merck's process also, we are taking what here barium peroxide only, right? And passing carbon dioxide. First, we are taking barium peroxide and we are just putting what here water, and then we are passing what here carbon dioxide. So when carbon dioxide gas is passed into barium peroxide solution, we can say, then we get what here hydrogen peroxide H2O2 plus what is the byproduct? Can you imagine? Barium carbonate, isn't it? Correct? Barium carbonate. Barium
Yes,
carbonate is water soluble or insoluble? Water insoluble. Because in alkaline earth metals, you see, when you go from beryllium carbonate to barium carbonate or beryllium sulfate to barium sulfate, in sulfates and carbonate solubility decrease or increase here? Decreases, right? So barium sulfate and barium carbonate are water insoluble substances. Therefore, simply we can filter and we can separate what here these precipitates. So you are getting what here hydrogen peroxide solution. Okay. Now these are the simple laboratory methods. In this, whatever the preparation we use for the preparation of hydrogen peroxide, we are not getting what here concentrated hydrogen peroxide. Only nearly 10% hydrogen peroxide, not more than that. Okay, very diluted. And one more method is also there, that is auto oxidation or self oxidation method. Auto oxidation method. In this auto oxidation method, now we are taking what here? It is diketone of organic compound, right? Suppose if we take, sorry, so you can write double bond. This is double bond. Here it is double bond. Here it is double bond. Here it is double bond. And here I'll make it what here double bond group. This is simply called as what here anthraquinone. What is this? Anthraquinone. Here on this carbon or this carbon we can substitute what here some group. Suppose I'll substitute what here C4H9. This is acting as what here electron releasing group. We can substitute butyl group or ethyl group, doesn't matter. So this compound name is called as what here 2-butyl, right? Anthraquinone. Anthraquinone, because it is keto group, isn't it? Now it is subjected to reduction. It is subjected to what here reduction in presence of what here catalyst palladium. So what is the group present? Actually keto group, isn't it, right? This
yes, sir.
keto group is on reduction gives what here secondary alcohol group, isn't it? Correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
Again this C4H9 group remains same, but here you are getting what here OH,
OH.
and this is becoming what here OH. Okay, so you can write bonds, doesn't matter. You can write the rings also. Okay, right? So here it is bond, and here it is. This is what same compound, but it is becoming what here alcohol. So therefore, this is called as 2-butyl anthraquinone.
Anthraquinone.
This is called 2-butyl. So don't get the confusion. I think in your material he has given ethyl. Doesn't matter. 2-butyl anthraquinone. So once this 2-butyl anthraquinone is formed, when it is exposed to air, right, it combines with oxygen, then undergoes what here oxidation. This is called as what here self oxidation. So first we are preparing, we are taking starting material anthraquinone subjected to what reduction, so that we are getting what here anthraquinone. It undergoes what here oxidation, and again getting back what here 2-butyl. I am not writing the structure again. 2-butyl anthraquinone. So what we are getting anthraquinone means first compound we are getting plus hydrogen peroxide. Why? Because see, here we are using O2. From here you are getting what here? Hydrogen and hydrogen, two hydrogen. So therefore H2O2. So that again it is become what here? Keto group. Therefore that is anthraquinone. So this is the preparation of what here? Hydrogen peroxide. This is nothing but what here? Indirect addition of what here? Hydrogen and oxygen. In the first step we see we are using hydrogen. The second step we are using what here? Oxygen. You may get the doubt. Can't we prepare hydrogen peroxide directly by using hydrogen and oxygen? No, we cannot. Right? We can prepare water, but we cannot prepare hydrogen peroxide directly from hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, when hydrogen and oxygen are combined, we get water, but not hydrogen peroxide. Therefore, if you want to prepare hydrogen and oxygen from hydrogen and oxygen, indirect method is this one. So first we are taking 2-butyl anthraquinone as a starting material. It should be subjected to reduction. So therefore you are getting 2-butyl anthraquinone. Later on it undergoes oxidation. This is called self oxidation or auto oxidation, gives what here again back ketone and produces what here? Hydrogen peroxide. So these are the preparations of what here? Hydrogen peroxide. Okay, right? Now whatever the method we use for the preparation of hydrogen peroxide, we are getting what here? Very dilute hydrogen peroxide, isn't it? Right? So later, next step is what here? Right? Concentration of what here? Hydrogen peroxide. I'm removing this one. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next step is what here? Concentration. In this, see, actually, here the physical properties, please you just read yourself, right? Concentration of hydrogen peroxide. Now here I see, if you compare the hydrogen peroxide and water, right, which is more viscous, hydrogen peroxide or water? Hydrogen peroxide. Why? Because see, in hydrogen peroxide, number of hydrogen bonds are more than that of in water. Because in hydrogen peroxide, two hydrogens and two oxygens are there, but in water only two hydrogens and one oxygen. Therefore, comparatively, number of hydrogen bonds or hydrogen bond strength is more in H2O2 than what here? H2O. Therefore, molecular association in case of hydrogen peroxide is more than that of water. Therefore, viscosity of hydrogen peroxide is more than that of water. And what is the boiling point of water? 100 degrees centigrade. But hydrogen peroxide boils at 152 degrees centigrade nearly. So this boiling point is what here? Very high. Clear this one? And this hydrogen peroxide is right. If you take pure hydrogen peroxide, it is unstable. Suppose if you take hydrogen peroxide and if you want to boil up to 152 degrees centigrade, before reaching this temperature only, it is going to decompose. Therefore, we cannot heat hydrogen peroxide up to its boiling point. Okay. Now here in this concentration of hydrogen peroxide, see, first we are taking what here? Dilute H2O2. Dilute H2O2. So this dilute H2O2 means approximately 10% hydrogen peroxide only it has, right? Now it should be subjected to concentration. First step is what here? In this first step, careful evaporation. Careful, right? Evaporation of what here? Evaporation. See, careful evaporation means see. Here, normally 10% hydrogen peroxide means 90% water will be there. Suppose if you take directly this solution in a beaker and if you heat it on flame, right, it undergoes decomposition. Instead of elimination of water, hydrogen peroxide undergoes water decomposition. Why? Because see, if you want to remove water from this 10% hydrogen peroxide, water should be converted to vapor, isn't it? Water is going to convert into vapor at what temperature? 100 degrees centigrade. But hydrogen peroxide decomposes right nearly 80 or 85 degrees centigrade only. Therefore, you cannot separate water, isn't it? So therefore, this process is called as what here? Careful evaporation. Careful evaporation means you see, now you have to take this dilute hydrogen peroxide in a beaker, right? This is what here? Dilute hydrogen peroxide, and now you have to this heat on water bath or sand bath. This is called as what here? Water bath or sand bath. If you take water in this, then it is called water bath. If you take sand in this, then it is called as what here? Sand bath. So now we are heating first this, not directly this solution is heated. This is called as what here? Careful operation. So this is the first step. When it is slowly heated on water bath or sand bath, then this dilute H2O2 changes into what here? 30% concentration. What is this? 30%. Now next step is what here? Distillation. Next step is what here? Distillation. Distillation can be done by what here? Under reduced pressure. Under reduced pressure. This process you know, right? In general, if any liquid mixture is right required to separate, if one of the liquid undergoes decomposition before reaching to their boiling points, we use this method, distillation under reduced pressure, because we know that whenever this 30% hydrogen peroxide solution is taken in a distillation flask and when it is boiled directly, right, here directly, here in order to remove remaining water, it should be heated to what here? 100 degrees centigrade. But when it is heated to 100 degrees centigrade, again, this hydrogen peroxide undergoes what here? Decomposition. Therefore, in that distillation flask, we are going to reduce the pressure. I think you know the relation between external pressure and boiling point. If the external pressure is reduced, boiling point decreases or increases? Boiling point decreases. Therefore, when we decrease the pressure inside the flask, automatically boiling point decreases. Therefore, without decomposition, we can separate what here? Water. So, but here you are getting what here? 90% only, right? 30% it is converted to what here? 90%. And after getting this 90% hydrogen peroxide solution, next step is what here? It is treated with what here? Dry ice. This is nothing but what here? Solid carbon dioxide plus ether. Solid carbon dioxide plus what here? Ether. So in this you see what is happening. If you put this 90% this hydrogen peroxide, if you put into this carbon dioxide, dry ice and ether, then we are getting what here, right? Water is converted what here? Crystallization, right? How much water is present? 10%, no? So it becomes what here? Like ice. So then we can filter and we can separate what here? Hydrogen peroxide. You'll get what here? Almost 99% of what here? Pure hydrogen peroxide. So simply remember, these are the three methods for the concentration of what here? H2O2. What are they? First one is careful evaporation. Second one is what here? Distillation under reduced pressure. And third one is treating of 90% H2O2 solution with what here? Mixture of ether and dry ice. That is nothing but solid carbon dioxide. So this is a concentration of hydrogen peroxide. And next, strength of hydrogen peroxide. So first we are discussing strength of hydrogen peroxide. Okay, later we'll discuss the properties, because this point is important here. Normally, solutions, if you see, if you prepare any solution, we express its strength or concentration in terms of what here? Different terms. As we know, right, what are they? Molarity, right? Next, molality, for example, molality. Next, normality, right? So these are the general terms we are using for the expressing of what here? Concentration of solutions. Even for hydrogen peroxide also we can use molarity, normality. At the same time, in case of hydrogen peroxide, we are using what here? Another concentration term, that is called as what here? Volume strength. That is called as what here? Volume strength, isn't it? So that we can also call it as what here? Volumes, right? So this is not quantity. This is what here? Strength of what here? Hydrogen peroxide, isn't it? If you go and ask in any medical shop about hydrogen peroxide, they immediately they will ask which you want, like 5 volumes or 10 volumes or 20 volumes, etc. Okay, as the number increases, means strength increase or decrease here? Strength increase. For example, you can take 10 volumes hydrogen peroxide, like 10 volumes, 20 volumes hydrogen peroxide, okay, 30 volumes hydrogen peroxide, etc. These are the different concentrations of what here hydrogen peroxide. This volume strength is the right indicating what here concentration of hydrogen peroxide, but not quantity. Clear this one? Now let us see how do we express this. Suppose if we take hydrogen peroxide, when hydrogen peroxide undergoes decomposition, it produces what here H2O plus what here O2, right? For balancing purpose, you can take as what here 2H2O2 and here it is what here 2H2O. Okay. What is the oxidation state of oxygen in hydrogen peroxide? -1, isn't it correct term? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. In water, -2. In oxygen, 0, isn't it? What type of reaction is this?
Disproportionation.
Disproportionation.
This reaction is what here? Disproportionation. Therefore, remember this point. Decomposition of hydrogen peroxide is an example for what here? Disproportionation. Okay. According to this equation, you see, suppose if this decomposition of hydrogen peroxide is carried out at STP conditions, when 2 moles of hydrogen peroxide is decomposed, you are getting how many moles of oxygen? 1 mole. Why I am taking oxygen? Remember, the strength or concentration of hydrogen peroxide purely depends on what here? The volume of oxygen liberated by the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. If any sample of hydrogen peroxide liberates more volume of oxygen, means that hydrogen peroxide is said to be more concentrated. Follow the point? Right. So,
Yes, sir.
strength of hydrogen peroxide purely depends on what here? Volume of oxygen liberated. Since this process is carried out at STP conditions, then we can take it as how many liters here? 1 mole means 22.4 liters, isn't it? Clearer? So 2 moles means how many grams it is? 64 grams, is it right? Correct term? Hydrogen peroxide molecular weight is how much? 34, 68 grams, sorry. It is 68, okay? Because molecular weight is 34, no? Correct term? Molecular weight of hydrogen peroxide, 34. So 2 moles means how many? 68 grams, isn't it? So therefore 68 grams hydrogen peroxide on decomposition always liberates how many liters of hydrogen, oxygen? 22.4 liters or 22,400
milliliters
of what here? Oxygen, isn't it? Right. Now let us come to this point. Right. So first let us take this example. Right. 10 volumes example let us take and let us see how. Okay, 10 volumes means what? So here 10 volumes hydrogen peroxide means you see, if we take 1 ml of hydrogen peroxide solution, 1 ml of hydrogen peroxide solution, when it is decomposed, suppose if it produces 10 ml of oxygen, 10 ml of oxygen. Here 1 ml of hydrogen peroxide means what? This is a solution, isn't it? Means in this contains what here? Say X grams hydrogen peroxide in how many ml of water? 1 ml water. Because volume of right solvent is nothing but volume of solution. We do not know what is X here. But when X grams of H2O2 is present in 1 ml water, say we are taking water 1 ml H2O2, producing how much? 10 ml. Then this sample, whatever you are taking, this is called as what here? 10 volumes, isn't it? Clearer? Suppose if take 1 ml of another sample of hydrogen peroxide, if it is producing 20 ml of oxygen, then it is called what? Right? Another one I am taking. 1 ml of another sample I am taking, H2O. Okay. When it is decomposed, it is producing how many ml of oxygen? 20 ml of oxygen. Now we can say this H2O2 sample is said to be how much? 20 volumes, isn't it? Follow this point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In this is see, say Y grams of what? Hydrogen peroxide is present in 1 ml water only. In both the cases, you see, you are taking volume of solvent same or different? Same. How much? 1 ml. 1 ml. But first solution is producing 10 ml of oxygen, but second solution is producing 20 ml of oxygen, means then it depends on what? The weight of hydrogen peroxide present in this 1 ml water. So X grams and here it is Y grams, which is expected to be more.
Y grams, sir.
Why? Exactly double. Why? Because we are keeping the volume of solvent constantly and we are making the concentration double, means what? Solute should be doubled, isn't it clear? This
Yes.
we can calculate what is X and what is Y here. Is it clear this point? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now let us see. How do we calculate this X or Y here? Now according to this relation, we know that, right, 22,400 cc of oxygen is obtained from how many grams of hydrogen peroxide? Tell me. 68 grams hydrogen peroxide, isn't it clear?
Yes, sir.
But we would like to get 10 ml only. 10 cc of oxygen can be obtained from how many grams of hydrogen peroxide? Okay, this is equal to 10 by 22,400 400 into what here? 68. This is equal to approximately, I am taking 0.03 grams here. How much? 0.03 grams, isn't it? Approximate value I am giving. Okay, 0.03. Now, what is this 0.03? This is the amount of what? Tell me. Hydrogen peroxide. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now here point is C. I am writing the statement. If 0.03 grams hydrogen peroxide, if it is present in 1 ml water, this is what solvent, isn't it? Correct?
Yes, sir.
1 ml water, then it produces what here, right? It produces, okay, 1 ml of 10 volumes hydrogen peroxide solution. I think you got the point, this one. Is it right? Clear? If 0.03 grams hydrogen peroxide, when it is dissolved in 1 ml water, okay, here 0.03 grams is what? Solute. How much volume of solvent we are taking? 1 ml water. Therefore, you are getting how much solution? 1 ml. 1 ml of what? Which solution you are getting? Tell me. Yeah? 10 volumes. Clear
10
this one?
volumes, sir.
Okay. Suppose
Yes.
see, now I would like to prepare 1 ml. I am taking again 1 ml water. But I would like to prepare 1 ml of what here? 20 volumes of H2O2 solution. Therefore, how much it should be dissolved? Tell me.
0.06.
0.06.
0.06. Clear? 0.06. Follow the point? Yes. Suppose if you want to prepare 10 ml, right? 10 ml of hydrogen peroxide solution of 10 volumes. How much it should be dissolved? Listen carefully. I would like to prepare 10 ml hydrogen peroxide solution. Means you should take water 10 ml, no? How much? 10 volumes only. Then how much we should dissolve? See, here the concentration we kept constant, 10 volumes only. But volume we made it 10 times, isn't it? Therefore, solute should also be increased by 10 times. Means how much it should be?
0.3.
0.3. Fine? Clear? Suppose if you want to prepare this 100 ml, okay, same 10 volumes, how much should be dissolved?
3 grams.
3 grams. That means you see here point is very clear, right? Here I am writing, if 3 grams H2O2, right? If it is present in 100 ml solution, then you are getting what here? 10 volume solution. Isn't it correct? Yeah. How much? 10 volumes of H2O2. 10 volumes of H2O2. How many ml you are getting? 100 ml. Isn't it? So 3 grams H2O2 is present in 100 means what here? Shall I make it as what here? 3 percentage W by V. Is it right? Clear at this point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any doubt? Please, if you have any doubt, you ask me. Then I'll tell you again. This statement is clearer. If 3 grams of H2O2, when it is present in 100 ml solution, then it is called 10 volumes of H2O2. How much? 100 ml. Okay. 3 grams present in 100 ml means shall I make it like this or not? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes
sir.
or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
yes. So now this 3 percentage is nothing but what here? Which solution? 10 volumes, isn't it? Okay. Suppose if you make it 30 percentage, then it becomes how much? 100 volumes. This is called parahydrol, right? This is called what? Parahydrol. Parahydrol. What is parahydrol? 30 percentage or 100 volumes of hydrogen peroxide is called as what here? Parahydrol. I think you got this right. Anybody have doubt in this? You can, yeah, this calculation. Shall I remove this? I'll write the point next.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now here is see, simply you can write the statement, right? If it is given 10 volumes, right? 10 volumes is nothing but what here? It is 0.03 grams, right? And this is what here? 3%. This is by what? 1 ml, isn't it correct? 3 percentage W by V solution, 3 percentage. 0.03 grams is in 1 ml. So therefore 100 ml means how much? 3 grams. So therefore this is nothing but what here? 3%. So therefore always 10 volumes is nothing but what here? 3 percentage of what here? Solution. Okay. Suppose if you take 20 volumes, 20 volumes means how much? 0.06 grams should be there in how much? 1 ml. That solution is called as what here? 6 percentage, isn't it? Suppose if you take 100 volumes, if it is 100 volumes, this is nothing but what here? 30 percentage. Clear this one?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now let us see how to calculate molarity. Molarity of the same solution. Which one? Molarity of what here? I am taking 10 volumes hydrogen peroxide. We are calculating. That is equal to, molarity is equal to weight by molecular weight into, tell me the equation, 1000 by volume of solution in cc, correct term? Okay, for 10 volumes I would like to take what here? 3 grams. Okay, what is the molecular weight of sulfuric acid, hydrogen peroxide? 34. So into 1000 by, how much you should take in the denominator? 10 or 1 or 10 or 100?
10.
Here weight, how much you have taken? Tell me. 3
100.
grams, no?
100.
3 grams means how much you should take? 100. If you want to take 0.03, 1. If you want to take 0.3, 10. Follow this one. Clearer? This is equal to, you'll get what here? 0.89 approximately. Therefore, 10 volumes means 3 percentage. Therefore, what is the molarity? 0.89 molar solution. Okay, this is another addition. And next, normality. I think no need to calculate the normality. Why? Because hydrogen peroxide is a weak dibasic acid. Weak dibasic acid. Therefore, normality is equal to 2 into molarity. Is it right? Correct term?
1.7.
Therefore, 2 into 0.89, isn't it? That is equal to 1.78, isn't it? Right? Therefore, what is the normality? 1.78 normal solution. Suppose if you have an idea about this relation, right, you can make it anything. Okay, just remember this. 10 volumes means 3%, molarity 0.89, normality 1.7. What is the normality of parahydrol? My question is, normality of parahydrol is
17.8.
normality of parahydrol. Parahydrol means what? 30%, right? W by V solution, no? That is how much? 17.8. What is the molarity?
8.9.
8.9. Got it? This concept is clear? Yeah?
Yes.
Everyone? Right. So these are the calculation of what here molarity. Based on this, many questions are there in your material. Just you can do this. And other relations are there here. Even other relations are also there. Right? Here the molarity, and I am giving volume strength relation. Molarity is equal to volume strength divided by 11.2. Okay, if you know the molarity, you can calculate volume strength. If you know the volume strength, you can calculate the molarity. Normality is equal to, right, volume strength, okay, divided by 5.6. Okay, these two relations are important. And another relation here, volume of oxygen liberated or produced. Volume of oxygen liberated is equal to, I'll write volume, right, volume strength of what? Hydrogen peroxide. Volume strength of hydrogen peroxide into volume of H2O2. No confusion here. This is what? Volume strength. This is volume. This is quantity, and this is concentration. Okay. Suppose say here the 20 ml of right, parahydrol solution is given. 20 ml parahydrol solution is given. Okay, what is the volume of oxygen liberated? 20 ml parahydrol solution is given. If it is decomposed, how many ml of oxygen is liberated? Huh?
600.
How? Here, what is the relation I gave it? Once you see, volume of oxygen liberated is equal to volume strength of hydrogen peroxide into volume. Parahydrol means what is the volume strength? Tell me.
100.
100. What is the volume I gave it?
20.
20. Then how to get 600? 2000 ml, isn't it correct? That is equal to 2 liters, isn't it? Is it right? Yes or no? Tell me. Yes or no?
Yes.
Don't take 30. That is 30 is what? Percentage of that in same. But I gave the relation volume of O2 liberated is equal to volume strength of H2O2 into volume of H2O2. Volume strength of parahydrol is 100. Okay. And what is volume? 20 ml. So these relations are important. These relations are what are important. Anybody have doubt in this? Tell me. Yeah. Yes. Come on. Shall I remove this one? Sure.
Yes, sir.
All these relations are clear now. So you try to complete the right that problems in your material. Easy problems are there, and they will ask easy problems on it. Right. Okay. Next term. So this is what here, right? Calculation of what here strength or concentration of hydrogen peroxide. And the next, let us come to the chemical properties. Chemical properties. Chemical properties. So in this first one, acidic character. First one is acidic character. Acidic character. Actually, hydrogen peroxide is a weak dibasic acid. It is a weak dibasic acid. So it decomposes H2O2 since it is a weak dibasic acid. It decomposes into two steps here. H plus plus what here? HO2 minus. Okay. This HO2 minus is called as what here? Hydroperoxide. Even this HO2 minus again undergoes what here? Decomposition and produces what here? H plus plus what here? O2 minus 2, isn't it? Right? This HO2 minus is called as what here? Hydroperoxide. What is this? Hydroperoxide. Okay. And this O2 minus 2 is called as what here? Peroxide. Right? Clearer? Therefore, according to this equation, we can say hydrogen peroxide, since it is a dibasic acid, right? It forms how many types of salts? Two types of salts, isn't it? With the bases. For example, you see, you can take sodium hydroxide, NaOH, 1 mole NaOH. When 1 mole NaOH is treated with what here? Hydrogen peroxide. Then we get NaHO2, sodium hydroperoxide plus what here? Water. Okay. Suppose if you take 2 moles of NaOH directly, right? Plus what here? H2O2. Then it gives us what here? Na2O2 plus what here? 2 moles of water. What is the difference you are finding? So now this compound is what? Sodium hydroperoxide. This is what here? Sodium peroxide. Sodium hydroperoxide, is it normal salt or acidic salt? Yeah. Sodium hydroperoxide, is it acidic salt or normal salt?
Acidic.
See, what is the basicity of H2O2? 2. Okay. So now any acid you take, right? Number of salts produced by an acid is equal to its basicity. Followed? And number of acidic salts produced by an acid is equal to basicity minus 1. And normal salts always is only 1. So therefore, here sodium hydroperoxide is what here? It is acidic salt. It is what? Acidic salt. And this one is what here? Normal salt. Acidic salt means, you see, we take sodium hydroperoxide, and again when it is treated with sodium hydroxide, further it reacts and produces what here? Sodium peroxide. Therefore, sodium hydroperoxide and if you put sodium hydroxide together, they do not exist because they react further. Okay. So this is what here? Acidic character of hydrogen peroxide. Okay. Second one. Next. Hydrogen peroxide acts as what here? Oxidizing agent as well as what here? Reducing agent. Of course, it is also acting as what here? Bleaching agent also. First, let us see oxidizing agent and reducing agent. Hydrogen peroxide acts as what? Oxidizing agent and reducing agent. Suppose we take oxidizing properties first. Oxidizing properties. This hydrogen peroxide acts as again oxidizing agent in acid medium, right? First one, in acid medium and even in basic medium also. It acts as what here? Right? Oxidizing agent in acid medium, in basic medium also. Okay. Now let us see what is the basic equation. Actually, basic equation means, you see, we can take it as what here? Hydrogen peroxide. When it is undergoing decomposition, we get what here? H2O plus what here? Nascent oxygen. That's it. So this is responsible for what here? Oxidizing property of what? Hydrogen peroxide. Normally we take that basic equation. but we can also show this one. See, in acid medium, H2O2 plus what? 2H plus, because acid medium, no, 2H plus. Now gaining what here? 2 electrons, because in order to act as oxidizing agent, it should undergo oxidation or reduction. Yeah,
Reduction.
reduction. Therefore, what you are going to get? Tell me now. 2H2O, isn't it clear this one? Yes. This is the basic equation involved in acid medium. We take basic medium. In basic medium, H2O2 directly accepting what here? 2 electrons. This is also undergoing what? Reduction. Therefore, it is going to convert it into what? 2 OH minus, isn't it? This is a basic equation in acid medium, and this is in what here? Basic medium. Okay, therefore, H2O2 act as oxidizing agent in both acid medium and basic medium. But the reactions are generally slow in, right? Acid solution, but fast in what here? Alkaline solution. This point is important. This is what here? Acid solution, isn't it? Right? In acid solution, right? Reactions are slow comparatively. Reactions are slow. But whereas in case of basic solutions, reactions are what here? Fast. Remember this point. Clear this one? Yeah. It acts as oxidizing agent, reducing agent, and bleaching agent. Now, oxidizing properties first we are discussed. It acts as what here? Oxidizing agent in acid medium as well as basic medium. This is a basic equation in acid medium. This is a basic equation in what here? Basic medium. Okay, in both the cases, it is undergoing what here? Reduction, because it is gaining 2 electrons. Okay, but these oxidizing properties are reactions are slow in acid solution, but whereas in basic solution they are fast. Clear? So this is the basic reactions. Now examples we'll discuss. Shall I remove this one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So examples many are there. Okay, these are all common examples, but right. So first example, it oxidizes, you see, black lead sulfide into what here? White lead sulfate. I think many times you have studied this reaction. Hydrogen peroxide oxidizes black lead sulfide to what here? White lead sulfate. Therefore, it is also used in what here? Right? Making the lead paints shining, because lead paints, when they are tarnished, when it is washed with hydrogen peroxide, again it shines. This is due to, right, formation of what here? Lead sulfate, isn't it? So now in this, you see, actually this reaction takes place in 2 steps, but every reaction I'm not going to write. Right, in 2 steps, you see. First of all, H2O2 decomposes into what here? H2O plus what here? Liberates nascent oxygen. Okay. The second step, this nascent oxygen, lead sulfide, it is now combined with what here? Nascent oxygen, and it produces what here? Lead sulfate, PbSO4. Okay. For balancing purpose, 4 I am taking, and here also, right, 4 we should take. This is also 4, and this is also 4. Right? Now we have to add these 2. Okay. Then we can cancel what here? Nascent oxygen. So therefore, what is the net equation we get? PbS plus what here? 4H2O2, that gives rise to, right, PbSO4 plus 4H2O, isn't it? Is it balanced, this equation, or not? Equation is balanced down.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, in this equation, sulfur oxidation state left hand side is -2. Right hand side is what here? +6. Okay. Therefore, it is said to be oxidation or reduction? Oxidation. Increasing in oxidation state is called as oxidation. No? So, how many electrons it is gaining? Tell me. Gaining or losing? What happened?
Losing.
Losing. Loss of electrons is oxidation. How many electrons it is losing? One more lead sulfide.
8.
8 electrons, right? Because -2 is changing into what here? +6, isn't it? Therefore, it is losing how many electrons? 8 electrons it is losing. Okay, one more lead sulfide. Clear? So, like this, you see, many examples are there, right? What are the examples here? Nitrites to nitrates, nitrites, NO2 minus, nitrates to nitrates, right? Next, sulfides to sulfates, right? Next, arsenides, ASO3 minus 3 to ASO4 minus 3. Arsenides to what here? Arsenates, this is ASO4 minus 3. Okay. Nitrates to nitrates, sulfides to sulfates, arsenides to arsenates. Next, it oxidizes hydrogen sulfide, H2S, into what here? Sulfur. Hydrogen sulfide to what here? Sulfur. Next, it liberates iodine gas with what here? Potassium iodide. Liberates iodine gas, right, with potassium iodide. Then it changes ferrous sulfate to what here? Ferric sulfate. It changes potassium ferrocyanide into what here? Potassium ferricyanide. It changes what here? Manganese salts into what here? Right? Mn plus 2 salts into what here? MnO2. Fe plus 2 salts into what here? Fe plus 3. Like many reactions are there. Only the remember, them ask the question, which of the following is an oxidizing property, or in which of the following H2O2 acts as oxidizing agent or reducing agent. Simply how to check, right? What is the change in oxidation state, right? Then we can decide whether it is undergoing oxidation or reduction. Okay. When do you have exam actually? Please.
Tomorrow, sir.
Tomorrow, sir.
Yeah, the afternoon.
Don't know, sir, timings.
Don't know, sir.
If it is possible in the evening, I will take again class now. Yeah, because in the middle we have missed some classes. Okay.
Yes, sir. D&A block also is there, sir, for this week.
Yeah, once only in the beginning it is there. Please, once you go through that, because I couldn't able to complete because of loss of 2 classes. You just try it.
Up to in oxidation state, sir.
Yeah. General properties actually is classification of D block elements, and next oxidation states. But actually, the schedule has given different. Schedule was started on 19th, but we have given that schedule on 23rd, not 23rd, 27th, I think. Then how it is possible? Right in the middle is, see, we actually lost 3 or 4 classes. We didn't do anything. 3-4 days, right?
Yes,
Correct?
sir.
Yes, because they only gave the instructions. So we are going to send the right new schedule for IC, okay, LTC. But they have started schedule on 19th, but they gave the schedule on what here? I think like 27th or 26th. There we have lost nearly 5 or 6 classes. That is a problem actually. Otherwise, we would have to complete syllabus. In that 3-4 days, actually, we got the gap, isn't it? Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let us hope. Right.